tremendous volumes of what type of person he is outside the business. And when you have a guy who know your family, who shares that type of love with you, you're going to put your heart on the line for him to give him whatever it takes for us to be in a great situation, because now he's my family, we want family, and we're here for Raider Nation to give him our all and be the best we can be.
As for Mike, a two-part question. How much have you improved your offense the last few days? And is running back still something you're looking for? Or is that what's the need there, I guess, at running back?
Yeah, I think the moment Antonio walks in our building, we get better on offense. I think our quarterback gets better. I think our offensive line gets better. I think the entire football team gets better. And I'm talking about on Sundays, and I'm talking about having an alpha male in the locker room 7 days a week. That's what I believe, okay? As far as the running back situation is concerned, we're always looking to get better, I mean, at every position. So, free agency starting to draw slowly to a close over the next couple days and weeks, and we'll focus ahead on the draft at every position.
How about Trent Brown also? What does he bring?
Oh, man. I mean, Coach and I watched an awful lot of film on Trent with the entire coaching staff. And if you watch him in the playoffs against the Chargers, watch him against Kansas City, the teams we have to play in our division, watch him play football in those games, and you come away saying, regardless of whether he's a left tackle or a right tackle, and we're not even going to address that today, the bottom line is we got way better on our offensive line, and Derek Carr got better, Antonio Brown got better, the whole team got better.
My name is Scott Bair from NBC Sports, and my question is for Mike. Take us back as you're talking to the Steelers and talking to Drew about acquiring Antonio. Was there ever a point earlier in the week where you were pessimistic about the opportunity of getting him, and maybe take us through that versus when you were actually able to seal the deal and bring him here?
Well, we weren't even in on the process until Friday. Okay, and I'm not going to get into specifics, but the bottom line is I think Pittsburgh wanted a certain pick. We weren't going to be able to get there. When that deal fell through with Buffalo, we got involved, and I'll tell you a couple things. I thought Kevin Colbert from Pittsburgh did a great job in getting this thing closed. I think Drew Rosenhaus was amazing, because there were some times where I wasn't sure where we were going to get there or not, okay? And anytime you've got a high-profile negotiation like this, there are points to be made by both sides, and you've got to get through some things. And Drew did a great job keeping this thing alive. And I've never seen a better connection between a player and a coach when these two got together. I mean, John had 400 clips of Antonio in the office. I walked in this morning. The two of them were sitting in there like little kids watching 400 cut-ups of Antonio, everything he did, everything. I mean, they were like little kids in a laboratory, and that's why we're so excited.
The truth is, Mark Davis invited Mike and I and our wives to an event in Las Vegas. So
True.
I was excited to get Mike out of the building. We went to Las Vegas. It was a great event. Mandy Mayock, my wife Cindy, and I, instead of having a nice date, a double date, we dated Rosenhaus and Antonio Brown. Never saw our wives, but it's as happy as Cindy and Mandy have been since we've known them, and Antonio agreed. So we thank you, brother.
Thank you, Phil.
True story.
John, the moves you guys have made, how does that sort of speed up the process of getting this team back to where you want it?
Well, there's a lot of urgency. I hope people feel that since I've been here. I mean, I think every coach in the league would express the same thing. We have obvious areas on this roster that we want to improve. And Mike Mayock being here, I don't want to, make him mad, but he's made a huge impact on this organization since he's been here. This trade has his fingerprints all over it. We're going to make a couple more moves, I do believe, in free agency that have his fingerprints all over it. It's been a blast, but we've gotten better. We have some resources in the draft to continue that process. And as I said all along, I don't think you can rush this. You got to do what you deem is right. Players don't become available all the time. You can't make all the necessary improvements. It takes a little bit of time, but we're confident that we're headed in the right direction.
Michael Gelkin, Las Vegas Review-Journal. Antonio, much has been said about your work ethic and how you practice. I was hoping you could detail a little bit in terms of how do you make the most out of not just the 2-hour on-field session you get for practice, but what are your habits before practice, what are your habits after practice? Can you kind of run through how you approach that?
Well, I'm real regiment oriented. I have a perfect system I like to run. Got my chef here, my trainer here, Tony. A team of people who just make sure I could just focus on being my best. I surround myself with great people, so I don't have to really worry about. All I can worry about is performing. Being my best when I walk in the stadium, and just not having to worry about the kids doing this, the wife doing this. I have people who make my life simple. When I go home today, my chef had the food food be ready. I don't have to worry where I'm gonna eat. I don't have to worry about when I'm gonna train. I got Tony in my corner to make sure he gonna help me to high standards to be in tip-top shape. My chef gonna make sure I'm eating the right meals so I can able to perform. So just having the right team of people that could, hold me to high standards, making sure I'm at a high level. And, when I hit the practice field, it's all about that. That's the fun part, because we already, put the icing on the cake and did all the necessary tweaks and balance to make me to be the player I know to be. So I got a great team. I'm excited to share my team with everyone's here. If the food bad here, man, my guys willing to cook. I'm here to help the program in all regards. I'm here to make guys better around me. I'm here to elevate everything around me. I'm here to just be a surge of energy, of positivity, and a good force, a great teammate, and bring out the best of everyone around me, because we all know it's not just about me. It takes 11. On each side of the ball, it takes special team. So it's a unit, So I'm just here to encourage, to set a tempo. Every catch I make, I'm going to the end zone. I'm jogging back. You guys will get to know me, and I hope every guy in the line behind me going to take that same approach, because if we all hold each other accountable, we'll be a better organization. And it's not about me being successful, it's about the organization being successful. I think if the organization's successful, then I'll be successful.
Mike, Jimmy Durkin from The Athletic. Obviously, you guys made some huge additions here on offense and so far in free agency. Does this allow you, as you go into the draft, to say, okay, we can really focus there on upgrading the defensive side of the ball where we need to get better?
Well, I think we need to get better everywhere. And whenever you make significant signings, what it does from a team needs perspective is maybe it allows you to concentrate in some other areas. But I've always been a big believer in the draft that value is value, regardless of position. So we're excited about those first 4 picks in the first 35. That's outstanding. But we got to hit everywhere else, and that's the game plan.
John, Matt Kelhar from the San Francisco Chronicle. You mentioned you want to build the best receiver group in the league. Just wondering if you've been able to come to an agreement with Tyrell Williams, and if so, how that sets you guys up.
I don't have any update on that. Obviously, it's a topic that is out there in the media. I don't have any information on that other than we're looking into his situation.
Yep.
Malika Bobino with the Oakland Post. Antonio, you come here with a lot of talent and veteran leadership. Obviously, the reality is the offense didn't do well last year. So how do you look at coming in and guiding some of the younger guys and to a standard of which and just at an NFL level to know, not that losing is something you can accept, but how you can get past it and stay positive, and also what teammates have you reached out to start, getting to know some of the other guys well?
Well, my plan is to, get around here, get in the room, start holding guys accountable, let them know it's a certain type of standard here now that we got to upheld. Receivers, we need an accountability system, drops, lates, fines, miss routes, miss sights. We're going to hold each other accountable. And if you don't fall in that accountability, you get fined. And so when Derek Carr walk in the room, he see all the receivers, this guy owed this guy owed this, so everyone have that accountability factor, because if everyone held accountable, we got to be at a certain standard. So I'm just here to set certain standards, hold guys accountable, and just uplift the tradition of, it's unacceptable to accept not our best. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my attitude. You know, we still shaping the team. You know, I can't do it all in one day, but this is a first start to kick off me being here and us doing some positive things moving forward.
David Lombardi with The Athletic. This is for Mike. I know that you've made many significant investments here in the last few days and probably still more are coming. How do you feel? Are you comfortable with where you are in regards to the salary cap, and were there any measures taken or any particular measures taken to make sure that this is all sustainable moving forward?
I think the most important thing is be sustainable over a long period of time, and we're good with the cap. I think the wild card in our planning, and I mentioned we spent an awful lot of time with free agency. The wild card was all of a sudden understanding that this guy might be available. That was the wild card. Okay, that was not in our free agent planning. And when all of a sudden we realized we might have an opportunity to compete for his services, it changed everything. And I think when you get a chance to, you've heard John talk about passion and love for the game. You've heard me talk about it. Both of us have watched this guy compete and play at if he sustains it at a Hall of Fame level, okay? And he's in the prime of his career. There's nobody in better shape. And when John and I had that first conversation in Vegas about potentially trading for the rights to Antonio Brown, there was no hesitation.